Well, here at home, British Columbia's crackdown on short-term rentals is revealing that thousands of homeowners are still making money from tourists even when they shouldn't be. CTV's Cristina Tenaglia has more on whether or not the new laws are working. She joins us now with that. Cristina, thank you very much for joining us right now. Okay, so the rules have changed, but apparently the people who were supposed to be following the rules haven't changed.
Yeah, but the rules are new, though, Roger. So in BC, these rules came into effect on May 1st. They apply to any city with at least 10,000 people or more, or any city that chooses to opt in. So the recent data that has come out shows that out of about 20,000 short-term rentals listed in BC, half are operating illegally, meaning they're not following the rules listed out by the municipalities and the provincial government. Meaning, for example, if you list your short-term rental on a site like Airbnb, even Airbnb could face some steep penalties, up to $10,000 per day for violating these rules. So these regulations in BC that came into effect on May the 1st are, of course, aimed at moving thousands of units off the short-term rental sort of listing hubs and into the hands of people that need housing. So what these new rules require is short-term rental hosts to have a valid business license number on display. The data that they provide through, let's say, an Airbnb, that needs to be shared with the provincial government. And then also as well, there are sort of guidelines in terms of what you can rent out. Your principal residence, so like your home that you live in, and in addition, you could have a secondary unit on your property. So let's say you live in your home, you could rent out your basement, and let's say you have a smaller little, secondary suite out back. So the challenge here is for the BC government, one, they're going to have to crack down on these illegal units from an enforcement standpoint, and two, those who desperately need housing are not left scrambling because this law is new, but the law was aimed at helping to put more homes online and deal with these so-called ghost hotels, Roger.
All right, and other provinces obviously keeping an eye on this to see what BC is doing, but what are some of the rules they have?
Well, here in Toronto, this has been the case for a few years now. You can only rent out your principal residence, meaning your home. Again, if you go on vacation, you could rent out your home or rent out, let's say, your basement. And it's for a period of at least 28 days. You can't rent it out for, let's say, a weekend. And there are challenges with this in the city of Toronto as well. You could call the number here, 311, to make a complaint, and bylaw will take a look at it. But same thing here where you have to have a registration number. I can tell you, there's one home in my neighborhood where it's listed on Airbnb. It has a registration number, registered with the city. It checks out in every way. But when you look on Airbnb, you could rent it out for 2 days here, 3 days there. And it doesn't appear that anyone lives there as their principal residence. It's a vacant home that people are able to rent out for a few days at the time, when really it needs to be someone living there at all times, renting out the home when they're not there, or let's say their basement, and for a period of at least 28 days. So these are things that, people can call bylaw enforcement about. But at the same time, the challenges, particularly here in the city of Toronto and BC, let's say the city of Vancouver, very expensive housing markets, that it's keeping available housing and affordable housing away from the residents of these cities that need it.
All right, so muddy waters right now. CTV's Cristina Tenaglia.